East Texas A&M University gets a lot of prestige for being part of the A&M Texas system, but it's also a little known secret to get a super awesome degree with great name recognition really fast. They have a competency-based program with a couple of different majors to choose from, and if one of those majors is the right fit for you, you could be graduating for just a few $1,000s in just a few months. Today, I'm grading East Texas A&M University's competency-based system in 4 categories to give it a GPA, and if it gets a GPA of at least 3.0, I recommend it to my viewers. The first category we're going to talk about is cost. ETAMU, which is what I'm going to call it to save time here, is a really affordable school if you're from Texas, but also if you're not from Texas. Now, we're just talking about their competency-based program here, which is basically a situation where you pay a fee or a subscription for a certain amount of time for one term, and then you knock out as many courses as possible. In this case, it's a 7-week term, and many of their students average somewhere between 3 to 4 courses, but you can accomplish many more. And if you live in Texas or really close to Texas, it actually only costs $1,000 for that 7-week term, and if you live anywhere else, it's only going to cost $2,000, both of which are phenomenal prices. Normally, you need at least 11 classes at ETAMU to be able to graduate, and the other 87 credits are going to probably come from third-party credit sources from around the internet, like study.com or CLEP or Sophia or Straighterline. Incidentally, the finding of those classes, planning a degree, transferring them into the school is what we on this channel call college hacking, and it's how we help people graduate college quickly and inexpensively so they can build a career that they love. But if you do all of that, you end up with 33 credits left to earn at ETAMU, and most people are going to be able to do that in like 3 terms, which means that you're going to graduate, if you're not from Texas, for somewhere around $7,000. And if you are from Texas, that could be as low as $4,000 or even lower, which is insane, especially for the name recognition of a school system like Texas A&M, which from what I hear, especially if you're in Texas, it's its own form of currency. And for that price, we're going to give them a rootin' tootin' high B, unless you live in Texas, in which case it's just like a super solid A. Now let's talk transfer friendliness, because yes, a lot of our viewers who want to go to ETAMU are going to want to bring credits in from a third-party source or from a previous college attempt, so they can graduate super fast like we talk about on this channel. And for that to happen, we need ETAMU to A, accept a lot of different types of credits, and we need them to accept lots of them. So a degree is normally 120 credits long, and ETAMU's, most of their major areas are about 30 credits long, and they want you to take all of those credits through their school. But this is Texas we're talking about, and they do Texas-y things, and so they have the requirement in their general education of a Texas government course that everybody has to take. There's no good way to get out of the Texas government course unless, maybe there's a situation where you're able to transfer in something if you live in Texas. But for the vast majority of us, you're just going to have to learn about Texas government, which from what I hear about on the news most of the time is a pretty wild subject. So hopefully that's a lot of fun to learn about. But most people in most of their majors are going to end up taking 33 credits. But what ETAMU is so good at is accepting transfer credits with super open hands. In most cases, almost every single case, they take the ACE or American Council on Education recommendation for what credits should come in as. So when they look at Sophia, they just see basically the most generous definition of what Sophia is or what CLEP is or what study.com is and transfer it in as that, which means there are lots of opportunities to get upper level credits and to pick, a subject that you're really excited about or a subject you already know a lot about, and to be able to transfer in, what'll probably end up being the easiest possible, most effective possible course that's out there. And the result of this is that you can basically go to study.com or Sophia and you can just get your transfer credits from one platform. A lot of other schools, you got to mix it up a little bit. Get a CLEP here, get a bunch of Sophias over here, get some study.com over there. But with ETAMU, you can just go to one of those platforms, get all the credits transferred in, do all the other courses at ETAMU, and you're done. Despite some smaller deficiencies, like the fact that they don't have a prior learning assessment program, which is honestly overshadowed by just how awesome competency-based learning is, or their awesome, very flexible transfer credit policies, we're going to go ahead and give them an A for transfer friendliness. The first thing to consider here is what degrees are available, and ETAMU might have the worst selection of bachelor's degrees in their competency-based program that I have ever seen. Now, the school as a whole has tons of majors to choose from, but we're talking about competency-based, and there's like 9 of them. I mean, what do we got? We got nursing RN to BSN, general studies, the Chipotle major, which which is a good one, organizational leadership, criminal justice, health services administration, city planning, human resources development, safety and health, and an education degree to prepare for certification. This is the most eclectic, random, thrown together pile of degrees that I think I have ever seen. Like, it's not even a business degree or a history degree, which are degrees like you see almost everywhere. There's not a tech degree. And yeah, I don't really know how they came up with this list. It's kind of crazy. But you have most of what you need here to be able to do a lot of different things, particularly that general studies, which is the Chipotle major, which lets you check the box of having a bachelor's degree, which means that it's going to be a viable option for like 80% of college hackers. But there are going to be a lot of people who look at this list and say, oh darn, ETAMU's not for me because they don't have a business degree, which is what I need. But what really sets these majors apart is how flexible they are. With the exception of the criminal justice major, the education major, and the nursing major, they are incredibly flexible. And so in all cases, except for general studies, which is even better, you're only going to have to take 33 credits at the school. They have enormous free elective sections, around like 48 credits. And so basically whatever credits you have, which ETAMU accepts a ton of credits, you're going to be able to find a place to put that credit and go in there and graduate quickly. And honestly, it is pretty cool that they have a city planning degree and a safety and health degree that are so hackable and so workable for a lot of people. You're not going to find that kind of stuff like anywhere else on the internet in the form that it is right here, especially as competency based. So I think that's incredible, but there are going to be very few people who are looking for those particular majors. All things considered, when it comes to degree choice and everything, we're going to go ahead and give them a C. When it comes to student experience, the first thing that you need to understand with ETAMU is that they are a residential and an online program, and so their statistics are going to be mixed up between those two programs. I think that's cool because it means that when you graduate from an ETAMU online program, you're also partaking of the legacy and the reputation of the residential program. So we don't really have stats that split them apart, so I'll just give you the general stats here. They accept 78% of applications at ETAMU. They graduate 46%, which is great. They're a public state school. They're regionally accredited by SACS, which is a really great accrediting body. And the thing that has really made them stand out for us, and the use case that we see with a lot of our clients is, everybody who thinks about college hacking is kind of gaga about UMPI right now. Like UMPI is really easy to hack, to transfer into, and to finish really quickly. And they have just one of the best costs out there, especially considering that unlike WGU, you don't have to sign up for 6 months. You can just sign up for 8 weeks. And some people finish all their UMPI classes there in 8 weeks. But here's the problem with UMPI. Their customer service leaves a lot wanting. We've got a lot of reports of their advisors giving bad advice, and then there's advisors who do a great job, but not every student can get the really solid advisors who have the experience and the knowledge and the, historical information to be able to answer questions well. But then you also have these long lines where it takes forever to get your application accepted. It takes forever to get your graduation packet looked over and approved so that you can actually get your degree conferred. And the difference at ETAMU is that their customer service is awesome. We've scoured the internet looking for complaints about the ETAMU online program, which, by the way, formerly known as TAMUC, or Texas A&M University Commerce. So they rebranded their ETAMU, and before or after that switch, we just really can't find people complaining about it. And every customer who's come to us and said, man, I'm just so frustrated with UMPI. I am so sick and tired of waiting. These guys don't seem to know what they're doing, which UMPI knows what they're doing. They're just busy. Maybe they're handling it well, maybe they're not. I'm not going to get into that. But we send them to ETAMU and they love it. Like, they get quick email responses. They get things conferred quickly. They get classes, signed up really fast. Their application is accepted really quickly. And it's just overall, generally a really good customer experience. Now, if we do what we did to UMPI and send a bunch of customers and students their way, will it get worse? Will they get overworked? Will they start to resent college hacked? I don't know, but why don't we find out? Why don't we go and graduate a bunch of people from ETAMU and see what happens? But I do know that they have a growth mindset here, because we just found out that this fall they are launching 3 competency-based master's degrees. So they see the potential here. They've gotten their taste of interacting with college hackers, with other people from around the internet who want to graduate through a competency-based program, and they seem to be ready to serve up more. I wouldn't be surprised if they even launched a business undergraduate degree at some point, which would be really smart for them to do. Apart from that, they're not in the news for any scandals. They have the huge benefit of being able to transfer in all of your third-party credit from just one source, like study.com or like Sophia. They take ACE recommended courses at the upper levels, which is really cool. They're very quick at getting stuff through, and they have no limits on who can apply, which you will see like WGU really only serves Americans. UMPI, you have to be at least 20. PUG wants to see some work experience, or they want to, Thomas Edison wants to put you through an extra process if you're not, the right age and all this stuff. But ETAMU seems to be very very welcoming of everybody. So if their majors fit your goal and fit your plan, for a lot of people, I think they're a really solid choice. And yes, a little bit more expensive, but there are a lot of benefits that go along with that as well. Due to all of this, particularly great customer service and the brand name, we're going to go ahead and give them an A for student experience. And we're excited to see if they can hold on to that as they continue to grow. So overall, ETAMU gets a 3.25 GPA and my hearty recommendation. They're not going to be the right fit for everybody. No school is, but there are going to be some people, particularly clients we've had in the past, who I think have been and are going to continue to be really excited that they found this school. If you heard me referencing UMPI a lot in this video and you want to check it out, here is a video all about UMPI, giving them a ranking. Here's a video all about WGU and telling you what they are all about and how they compare to other schools. Thank you so much for watching, and happy hacking.